Initial idea validation. Don't fall too hard. So you have an idea, perhaps even a whole heap of ideas after our brainstorming session. You feel a surge of energy, see its potential, and dream of future success. This is wonderful. This is the very spark that drives entrepreneurs. But now, before diving headfirst into the deep end, you need to stop. Take a deep breath and ask yourself the most important question. Does anyone else need my idea besides me? Many startups fail not because they have a bad product or insufficient funds. They fail because they create something nobody needs. This stage, initial validation, is the most critically important. This is your reality check. This is the moment when you must be prepared for your brilliant idea to turn out to be a flop. And that's okay. It's better to find out now than to spend years and all your savings building something nobody will buy. Focus on customer discovery. Get out of the building. Your office, your room, your head, these are the worst places to test an idea. You need to get out of the building. This is a famous Silicon Valley mantra, and talk to real people. Imagine you're a detective, and your idea is a potential suspect. You need to gather evidence. Your customers are the witnesses. Customer discovery is the process of studying your potential audience to understand their problems, needs, and desires before creating a product. The goal isn't to sell your idea. The goal is to learn. It's not, I have product X, buy it. It's, I'm thinking about problem Y. Do you encounter it? Tell me about your experience. Why is this so important in our reality? The market is huge and saturated. Competition is high. Your potential customers are already using something that solves their problems, even if not well enough. For your product to be in demand, it must be significantly better, cheaper, or more convenient than what currently exists. And the only way to understand this is to talk to those who will use it. Imagine you've invented a new, super-duper high-tech mop that vacuums, mops, and dries the floor in one swipe. You're sure it's a revolution. But then you talked to people and found out many already have a robot vacuum and a mop attachment. The main problem isn't mopping, but how to store a bulky mop in a small apartment. And anyway, no one is willing to pay more than $50 for a mop. Your revolution turned out to be a needless headache for the wallet. And you could have found that out in a couple of days of conversation instead of a year of development, conducting effective interviews and surveys with potential consumers. Talking to people isn't just chatting, it's an art. Your goal isn't to get praise or confirmation, but to extract the truth. How to do it? Who to interview? Your target audience. If you're making an app for young mothers, go to young mother groups, playgrounds, baby stores. Don't interview your grandfather unless he's your target audience. Early adopters. These are the people who are always trying new things, looking for solutions, and willing to experiment. They are easier to find, and they will give you the most valuable feedback. Don't be afraid to ask strangers. Forget shyness. In most cases, people are willing to help if you politely explain your purpose. Hi, I'm working on a project that might solve problem X. Do you have 5 minutes to share your thoughts? How to conduct interviews. One-on-one is the best format. Don't talk about your idea directly, at least not initially. If you immediately start explaining how great your idea is, people will politely nod and say, "Oh yes, that's great." But it won't be the truth. Focus on their problems and past experiences. Ask questions like, when was the last time you encountered problem X? Tell me more. What did you do to solve it? What tools did you use? What did you like about that solution? What didn't you like? How much time, money do you spend on this problem? If you could wave a magic wand to solve this problem, what would the ideal solution look like for you? Listen more. Talk less. Your goal is to let the person speak. Write down key points. Look for emotions. If someone says, "That drives me crazy," zrenia, "Ja nienawidzę это." Component placement. I'd be so happy if that worked. You've hit upon a real pain point. Beware of the hypothetical yes. If someone says, "Yeah, I'd probably buy that," that's a red flag. People love to say yes in theory. Ask, "What specifically are you willing to do to get this?" Or, "How much are you willing to pay right now for this problem to disappear?" Don't argue. Even if you think they're wrong, just listen. Their opinion is your reality. Example: taxi by phone. If you wanted to launch Uber, you wouldn't ask, "Would you use an app to hail a car?" Instead, you'd ask, "Tell me, how do you usually get to the airport? What frustrates you about that process? How much time do you usually spend waiting for a taxi? Have there been cases where a taxi didn't show up?" From these answers, you'd understand that people hate waiting, not knowing the price, and not being sure a car will even arrive. This is the pain that Uber solves. Surveys for collecting quantitative data. After you've conducted several dozen in-depth interviews and started to understand general patterns, you can use online surveys, e.g., Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, to collect data from a larger number of people. Questions should be clear and measurable. For example, how often do you encounter problem X? Daily, weekly, monthly? How critical is problem X to you? From 1 to 5. Do not replace interviews with surveys. Interviews provide depth and understanding of motivations. Hypothesis. Testing. What does the market truly need? Every idea you have is, in essence, a hypothesis. For example, I assume that people are willing to pay for my product service because they face problem X. I think that new feature will make our product better than competitors. Validation is the process of testing these hypotheses. You gather data from interviews, surveys, competitor analysis, and compare it with your assumptions. Examples of hypotheses and how to test them. Hypothesis 1. People in large cities have difficulty finding available parking spaces. How to test. Talk to drivers in the city center. Ask how much time they spend looking for parking, how many tickets they've received, how much it frustrates them. Look for statistics on parking occupancy. What to look for? Confirmation that this is indeed a widespread and painful problem. If people say, "Well, sometimes," that's one thing. If they shout, "Oh my God, I'd sell my soul for that," Zrania, then you're on the right track. Hypothesis 2. My app that helps plan weekly menus and shopping lists will save people 3 hours a week. How to test. Ask people how much time they currently spend planning menus. Offer them to try an early prototype, even a paper sketch, of your app. See if it actually saves them time. What to look for. People's willingness to change their behavior for your solution. If they're too lazy to even try, then the problem isn't acute enough, or your solution isn't appealing enough. Hypothesis 3. My online course on investment basics will be popular among college students. How to test. Create a simple landing page, single-page website, with a course description and a sign-up button. The course doesn't need to be ready. The main thing is to see how many people click sign up and perhaps leave their email. Try running a small ad campaign targeting your audience and see the conversion rate. How many people who saw the ad clicked and registered? If no one registers, then perhaps students aren't as interested as you thought, or the description isn't compelling. What to look for? Action. If people are willing to leave their contact information, or even better, make an upfront payment for a non-existent product, that's a powerful signal. Don't fall in love with your idea too much. This rule is golden. Your idea is just a starting point. It will change, transform, and sometimes even die completely. And that's not a failure, that's learning. Every time you learn that your hypothesis is wrong, you get one step closer to the idea that will truly take off. Remember, when Steve Jobs showed the first iPhone, he didn't just present a phone. He presented a device that solved many unarticulated problems and changed the world. But behind that were years of experimentation. hundreds of prototypes, and thousands of hours of conversations with potential users who didn't even know they needed a smartphone. Idea validation is not about seeking confirmation. It's about seeking truth. And that truth, whatever it may be, will become your most valuable asset on the path to creating a successful startup. Now that you know how to find and test ideas, you're ready to move on to the next stage, creating your first business model.